Maeve always said the old house breathed at night, not in that poetic, haunted, romantic way people talk about creaking floorboards or settling beams. No, this was entirely different. The walls hummed. It was a low, vibrating sound that seemed to come from somewhere deep beneath the floorboards, like a voice too large to fit inside a human throat. But she moved in anyway. The rent was impossibly cheap, and she'd managed to convince herself the hum was just old pipes, the groan of an aging building. It was a story she told herself to feel safe. The first night, the hum started at exactly 2:13 a.m. It was a long, low vibration that made the glass of water on her nightstand tremble. She shot up in bed, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs, straining her ears in the darkness. This wasn't the pipes. It wasn't the wind rattling the window frames. It wasn't anything she could explain away with logic. It sounded deliberate, intentional. The house felt awake, and it was watching her. The second night, the hum came again, right on schedule. But this time, it shifted. The monotone vibration was gone, replaced by a pattern. It rose and fell, a slow, rhythmic cadence, almost like breathing. It was the sound of a massive chest inhaling and exhaling. In a moment of morbid curiosity, Maeve crept out of bed and pressed her ear to the wall. The hum stopped instantly. The silence was more terrifying than the noise. And then she felt it. Something on the other side pressed back. She jerked away, stumbling backward across the room, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. The wall was still, silent. It looked completely innocent. But she knew what she had felt, the faintest push, like cold fingertips brushing against the other side of the plaster. On the third night, she didn't even try to sleep. She sat in the living room with every single light blazing, a flimsy shield against the oppressive darkness outside. She sat there, waiting, but the hum didn't come. Instead, the house whispered. It wasn't loud, it wasn't clear. It was just a faint rhythmic sound, like someone dragging their fingers along the inside of the walls. A slow, methodical scratching. It was searching, mapping the shape of her home from the inside out. Maeve slowly backed toward the front door, her eyes wide, scanning the walls around her. The whispering stopped. A heavy silence fell over the room. Then, from directly behind her, the hum started again. Low, close, far too close. She spun around. The wall behind her pulsed, as if something enormous was pressing against it from the other side, desperately trying to push its way through. The plaster began to bulge outward, cracking in a slow, widening line that snaked across the surface. A fine dust rained down onto the floor. Maeve didn't hesitate. She ran. She didn't stop to grab her phone, her keys, or her coat. She didn't look back. She didn't even dare to breathe until she was halfway down the empty street, the cold night air burning her lungs. When she finally risked a glance over her shoulder, the house stood silent and still, every window dark and lifeless under the moonlight. It looked just like any other house on the block. But the front door, the one she was certain she had slammed shut behind her, was now wide open. A gaping black mouth inviting something else to come inside. Or perhaps letting something out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales from the shadows. We'll see you in the next one.